What's up, everyone? In this Gundam Evolution beginner guide, my goal is to give everyone who watches it a basic understanding of Gundam Evolution so that you can jump into the game not feeling overwhelmed with lots of things to learn and just have fun. So, to do that, I'm going to talk about what the game is about, talk about what the characters are, talk about what the game modes are like, and then give you some basic but really important tips that will help you play. So, starting off, Gundam Evolution is essentially what you would call a 6v6 team hero shooter objective game. So, that was a lot of words. But essentially what it means is it's two teams of 6 playing against each other with unique characters called mobile suits that each have different HP, abilities, and weapons, playing around an objective. So it's not a team deathmatch type game, so don't expect to just, win only by killing things, but it's based around objectives. So this game is very, very, very similar to Overwatch in a lot of ways, especially just the way that the objectives are and things like that. So if you played that, you're pretty well set off. But in the same way, you can swap your mobile suits at any point in the game. You just have to actually own them. In this game, you start with 12 free mobile suits, and there's another 5 that can be purchased with real and in-game currency. So, the characters in this game do have some role-type characteristics, but they don't really have proper roles. There's no proper class distinction. Every unit does a lot of damage, but in my opinion, they also have a secondary job. So, essentially, if they have more HP, they can do tanky things. If they have the ability to heal, then they can also do support-based things. So it's essentially like everything has like a dual classification. So everything's like damage / something else, right? So damage / tank, damage / damage if they're just pure damage, and then damage / supports. So the characters that you're going to find in each of these different categories would be, for the damage tank characters, it would be Sazabi, Dom Trooper, Melee Zaku, and Marasai. For the damage characters, the pure damage characters, it would be Ashimar, RX-78 Gundam, GM Sniper, Shu, Pale Rider, Exia, Zaku 2 Ranged, Barbatos, Guntank, and Turn A Gundam. For the damage support characters, it would be Metis, GM, and Unicorn Gundam. So, I'm not going to go over these right now, but I did make a full set on each of these characters for my Mobile Suit Guide series and for my Should You Main Guide series. So if you want to go watch through both of those, or whatever, it's a lot of videos to watch, but it will let you know a bunch about the characters, how to play them, when to play them, all that jazz. So, now moving on to the game mode. So there's 3 different game modes in both the ranked and casual versions of the game: Domination, Destruction, and Point Capture. Domination is a King of the Hill type game mode. It's similar to other King of the Hill game modes, but it's a little bit different in the fact that the objectives actually change around the map. There's 3 objectives that it can be on, and it'll rotate throughout the game. Whereas in something like Overwatch, it's only one objective that it always is, and it doesn't change at all, and that's the one you fight for constantly, right? So, in Gundam Evolution, you'll start off the match, and there'll be a 30-second time period where the objective is locked. You can't contest it. That's just a time period to get ready, skirmish a little bit, and fight. Then after that 30-second time period is over, there'll be a 1-minute period in which you can capture the objective. If you clear all the enemies off for about 3 seconds, you'll capture the objective, and then you start getting capture percentage towards the 100% total you'll need. Then after this 1-minute period is over, it'll go back to being 30 seconds locked on another objective and repeat in this sort of a cycle. If you capture and get up to 100%, you win the round. So that's going to take about capturing maybe 3 of these objectives for in the majority of the time, sort of a thing. But when you win it, you win the round, and then you get 1 point towards the best 2 out of 3 of this game mode. If you win 2 rounds, you win. If you don't, you lose, right? So there's also an important concept with this game mode and the other game modes also called overtime. If you're sitting there at 97%, 98%, 99% ticking up in this capture progress, right as it hits 100, it goes into overtime if there is an enemy standing on the point. If they are standing there, then you have to clear them off. And it works pretty similarly to other games in the way that you have to have no enemy touch it for about 3 seconds. And if they do, the overtime gauge goes back to being full and it ticks down. It goes full, someone touches, goes back, that sort of thing. It's not too complicated. You'll understand when you play the game. So a really important guideline for this game mode is that since you can see what objective will be opening up next, for example, if you walk up to B and you see you only have about 10 seconds left, because you can see that the next one is on A, and know that you don't have a lot of time to capture B, that it wouldn't give you anything. In this situation, it's a really, really good idea to go show up nice and early to the next objective. You do have 30 seconds before it unlocks, so you can't capture it, but the enemy doesn't really expect you to be ready already. They'll walk up to you, they'll walk up to the objective, you know, maybe at like 10 seconds until it unlocks, but you'll have been there for another 5. And then your setup, you kill them and you win. All right, now to talk about destruction. Destruction is pretty similar to other bomb planting type game modes in things like CSGO and Valorant, but it's different because it's not permadeath. So essentially what happens is first, there's like a little side objective where there is a point that you can walk onto and capture, just like with normal game mode rules. And if you get that, it gets you a closer spawn point. There's like a little bit of a early skirmish sort of thing that goes on. And then after that, there are 2 sets of bomb sites, A and B, that you can go plant and destroy. You walk up to them, you plant, it takes about 5 seconds to plant, and then it starts a 1-minute timer. If that 1-minute timer expires without the enemy defusing it, it blows up. Once that has happened, then there's another set of objectives that open up. So there was a first A and B, and then a whole area of the map opens up, and then there's a second objective A and B for you to try and blow up. And you only need to blow up one, so you don't need to try and get both of them. It's a very interesting little take on it. The way that defusing works, it's, like I said, it's unique. The attacking team does have a lot of an advantage in this game mode, though, just because of the fact that it can choose which target site it wants to go to. So on defense, you need to pay a lot of attention to which place they're going to, because it can be really difficult to defuse the bomb once it's been planted. If you are on attack, though, you have to keep in mind that after you've planted the bomb, you don't actually have to win the full fight. Like, you don't need to kill everyone. All you need to kill is the person who's defusing the bomb. So if there's like 5 seconds remaining, there's 6 people on the enemy team, and they're defusing the bomb, if you can just kill the one person who's defusing or stun him, then it'll cancel it and you'll win the round. So a little bit of a trick there, but a really useful one too. So the third and final game mode is point capture. Point capture is essentially a 2 CP game type, or 2 capture point. If you're on offense, there's an objective you have to try and capture. If you're on defense, you have to stop the enemy from capturing it. So essentially, you push forward, you capture the point, and yeah, when you've captured it with, you know, the same rules as before, where you have to clear the enemy off of it for a certain amount of time, that opens up a second objective. And then you do the same process again, and you get a little bit more time. If you are able to fully destroy both of the bomb sites, or sorry, if you're able to capture both of the capture points, you win the round, and then it rotates to now where you're playing on defense and the enemy's on offense. Essentially, whoever is able to do the most progress wins. So let's just say you get caught on the first one, and you only get like 50% of the capture progress on the first of the 2 point captures, and then the enemy comes in and gets better than that, they win. So that's how that tends to go. This game mode is a very defensive based game type, so it's important to understand that you need to have every advantage as possible on offense, which means you really need to group up with your team. These sort of game modes have an issue where people continue to just stagger in one at a time, and they get killed, and you can't really do that in this game mode like you can another one. So when you're playing this, just be really, really focused on making sure you're with a group of 6 whenever you push in. Don't go on by yourself and try and stay with your team. All right, now we're going to move on to some really important tips. They're basic, but they're fundamental, and so they're super, super important. The first one is honestly just to make sure you play with your team. I know that this is probably me sounding like a broken record if you've played these sort of games before, but it's so important. While you can do a lot in Gundam Evolution by yourself, you're not going to really have a lot of fun just walking into 6 people and trying to kill them all by yourself. It just won't work. They will kill you. So whether you plan to group up with your team, just, you know, stand on top of them, right? Or you go for like a flank, just make sure whatever happens, you're going in at the same time as your team. Or like I said, you'll be caught against a bunch of people by yourself and you'll just lose. And that's just not fun. You know? I mean, we can play this game casually, but we still kind of want to have fun and win, right? Don't want to be dead all the time. So second tip, play the objective. Wow, I did a little slip there. Hunting down enemies to rack up as many kills as possible is a lot of fun, but it's only really going to help you if you aim your attacks towards the objectives. And as a side note, there's going to be a lot more enemies playing towards the objectives, so that's where you get to go kill people, right? You won't get much value chasing around, doing whatever. You'll be throwing your games. You won't even see people very often. You just won't have a lot of fun. So make sure you go play around the objectives, try and capture them, try and defend them, and that'll help you the most in your Gundam Evolution endeavors. Last tip, though, just find your way that you like to play the game. That's what I would really say to anybody who's new. When the game is in your hands, there's so many mobile suits to try out. so many different playstyles within each mobile suit. So just go give them a try. Now, of course, you know, I'm not recommending you just go buy all the paid mobile suits to try and, you know, test them out, right? Go test out the ones that are free, and then the ones that are paid, you can watch guide videos or talk to other people about it, and then decide if that's something you want to purchase with real money or try and purchase with the in-game currency. Just the thing about this game is they're so different and they're so unique that you never really know which one is just going to be your new favorite until you've tried it out. If you're looking for some more Gundam Evolution videos, then make sure to check out my mobile suit guides. I made one for all original to 14 mobile suits, and I did a Should You Main guide series also, covering the same mobile suits and talking about whether you should actually main them in Gundam Evolution or not.